person from wherever you're getting me from. Hello, I hope that this one finds you really well. And I believe that you're doing really perfectly well when it comes to helping us, of course, grow the GDP, the GNP of this country, even as we continue to grow together. On our discussion, Vijana na Ukulima, given that we focus usually on the young people and exactly what we need to do to ensure that the young people can grow and that they can execute the very things that bring changes, results, and prosperity to our country. Today, I want to welcome you to the show as we'll be discussing about the 10 different business ideas that you can start around farming, because most young people have the desire, and I know you people have been asking around, it's okay, Ben, you're telling us that we need to get into agriculture. We need to start doing something that is going to grow our country, that is going to grow the way that we view agriculture. But as a young person, exactly where do I go? What are some of the ideas that I can venture into? And today, we decided to answer to that cry, to answer to that demand, such that we can ensure that every one of you can understand where can I start and what can I do to ensure that as a young person, I get to execute a few number of things. Now, if you're a young person and you've tuned in, please make sure to share this with someone who needs this and with some of your friends who you believe that they will need to understand how they can invest into agribusiness and how they can ensure that they grow. And so as you are growing, your friends also can grow and that we can all go to the same direction. Once again, welcome to the show, Vijana na Ukulima. Now, thinking about the different business ideas, I want to start by saying this. As a young person, the biggest problem is not usually you starting a business or you knowing the ideas to start, but actually you understanding, once I know the business ideas that I can venture into, do I get the discipline to execute? So before we even start talking about this is what you do, this is how you do it, I want to emphasize on one thing: the discipline for execution and the ability to do what you know they're supposed to do, such that tusiongee hapa hivi kama vijana to decide hivi ndivyo tunaelekea na hivi ndivyo tunafaa tufanye mambo, and then by the end of the day you never get to execute, because that is the biggest problem. And of course I understand you, it brings a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety when you're starting out as a young person to grow your business. It brings a lot of stress, that one I know. So I want us to understand exactly the first thing that you need to do is to fight the fear, the urge, and the voices that tell you you cannot do it or you should not start, because that is one of the biggest reasons why you're going to find it so hard for you to execute successfully. You're going to find it so hard for you to get to the level that you want to get into. So every young person who thinks of starting a business and you believe in yourself as a founder, because you see, we are in a generation whereby us as young people, we not only want to start businesses, but we want to ensure that the businesses we are starting, they bring results and that they bring growth to our own lives. And we are in an age and in an era whereby everyone wants to be popular and everyone wants to know that you people know me, people are thinking about my business, and people now are building not only based on the value that they're trying to build on, but also building based on the ego that they have, or even more on the things that they think are going to bring traction to them and bring a lot of success for them. So welcome to the show. Ensure that you're sharing this with any young person who needs this. Maybe they just cleared high school, maybe they just cleared campus, maybe they've been out and thinking about what do I do exactly with my life and how do I ensure that my life runs on the right direction and in the right trajectory. So this is Vijana na Ukulima, and that is the first thing that I wanted to give away. Remember, stay around, because after the point number 10, we'll be having a bonus tip that is going to help you so much in knowing how do you sell, how do you get into this, because getting into a business is not enough. You understanding how you get to your target clients and how you get to your target customer, that is so critical, because a business basically is built on two things. First of all, on a few things, sorry. And first of all is that you build a product, all right? It's just the law of enterprise. You build a product. Once you have the product, you put a price on the product, and once you put the price on the product, then you look for the target client for that product. So you're building products not only based on what you're thinking about, but also the demands that are in the market. And if you want to grow really well and to understand these three principles and strategies that assist people to build lasting brands and big businesses, you want to stay around till point number 10, because that is when we'll give the bonus tip. Now let me start with business idea number 1, and it's the one thing that we've been discussing the entire of this week, that is on the Morning Brew Show, and we've been talking about nothing else but broiler chicken farming. The reason as to why we chose this topic is because it's among the trending businesses that you can start as a young person, given that they do not require a lot of money to start and that they do not require a lot of effort. They don't require so much investment from your end for it to run successfully. And on top of that, the fact that they give you an advantage of time, that you can start the business and you can ensure that your business can run and get your profits back. Like, you invest today and within 2 months you have your money back. We are talking of 6 to 8 weeks. So between 6 to 8 weeks you have your money back. So that is business idea number one, because it's so critical for you to understand exactly what are some of these business ideas that are going to bring over. And I did a small research on the same to get to know some of the things that you need to put in place when you're starting the business. And I had to think about capital and think about the demand and where you can sell them from. So when it comes to broiler chicken rearing or chicken farming, if you want to get into this idea, remember we've said that 6 to 8 weeks you have your chicks into maturity, and once your chicken is matured, now you can sell it to a target market. Budget ranges between 20,000. You remember we said a chick will cost you around 100 shilling. So if you decide to start with 100 of them, that is simply at 10,000 Kenyan shillings. And you need, of course, to put in mind that there is cost for food and there is cost for a number of medication, maybe when need be, water, facility and stuff. But if you come from an area whereby you already have the facility, then advantage is on your end, since you not have to struggle so much in putting up a facility or putting up the necessary resources that need to contain and sustain the farming of the broiler chicken. So that is number one. It's a really booming business. If you can get a way to get into it, trust you me, it's rewarding and it's bringing back. You just need to sit down, think exactly, how do I ensure that I have the chicken and I can get them to the market. And a lot of people in the market are looking for them. So we're talking about the capital need. You need at least 20,000 to around 50,000 for the chicks, feeds, and the housing of the same. Then let me talk to you about the income streams that you can get from the broiler chicken. Number one, you can supply to hotels, all right? But don't worry, this is something we are discussing this week. So you'll be able to get a glimpse into what exactly is happening in the broiler business this week from our show, The Morning Brew, every day from 9 a.m. through to 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Sorry. So check it out so that you can understand what is the business in the broiler chicken farming. Number two, fast food joints. They are really paying, and they're giving you an advantage and an upper hand when it comes to the broiler farming. Then we have butcheries, then we have households. At least every person nowadays wants to eat chicken, and chicken has become such an affordable meat such that people no longer focus on beef. You know, initially beef was the most affordable kind of meat that you could access, but nowadays chicken has become more affordable, and people are now rushing towards that, given of its taste, slickness, and of course, it's always a pleasure to eat a chicken, isn't it? Right? So those are some of the places. Now, some of the places with high demand. Let me start by saying this: Nairobi is leading when it comes to the demand for chicken, because it's a city. We have a lot of people, and people are continuing to move to Nairobi. But also, we also have a number of restaurants, many of them within Nairobi, especially fast food joints that are opening everywhere. Nairobi, along Thika Road and Thika Town. There are fast food joints popping up every day, and they need supply for the same. So you want to think about, how do I serve this market, and how do I ensure that this market is of course benefiting from what you're doing. So that is number one, chicken farming. So high demand is within Nairobi, along Thika Road in Thika, and every other town. Anywhere there is a town, trust you me, you're going to benefit a lot from broiler chicken farming. Number two, still on the same when it comes to poultry, is on egg production. You see, let me break this down. This point number two is so close to my heart, because I looked at them based on the returns they are giving you and how fast they give you the returns. And I was thinking, imagine you buy one chicken today, and that chicken can reproduce consistently and continually and bring you profits and revenue for the next 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years, depending with how you keep the chicken. Because how you feed it, the nutrients you ensure that they have, so that they continue to produce a good egg, an egg with a good shell, is really, really critical. But don't you worry, we got you covered, because we are going to roll up a series talking about egg farming, the egg business. How do you sell it? Where are some of the markets? Where can you find some of the markets? But before we get there, egg production is a really, really, really booming kind of a business, and it's something that you would want to focus into. It's just you rearing the layers chicken. Okay, so you get to understand that because of the demand that is growing in the market. Remember, when we were starting the show, I told you that you don't want to build only based on what you think you need. You want also to build based on the demand that is in the market, because if you do not build based on the demand that we find in the market, then you never get to the place that you want to be. So number one, very fast, we said broiler. Number two is layers. The chicken business is booming now and then. Everywhere nowadays, you go to any party, you go to any ceremony, even funerals, people want to have at least a dish that is made from chicken. So you want to ensure that you're getting into this area, and we have a lot of pop-up businesses that are also supported by the chicken farming. So number two, as we were saying, is layers. Now eggs is a good business. This is the reason. Number one, even now we continue to import eggs from other countries. What does that tell you? That at any given time, you will never overproduce. That is one thing for sure. That is something you need to understand. You will never get to a place whereby you are overproducing eggs. Eggs will always be on demand, and people will always want to buy eggs. So you want to think exactly whether you're going to get into the business. And it's not even a must that you own your own chicken. You can look for someone who has the chicken already, and you decide that you'll be buying from them and then selling to a target market. At the end of the day, the thing is that egg production business is really on the booming, and it's really on the rising, especially in Kenya, that people are growing consciously. Nowadays, now and then, anyone, everyone, almost everybody wants to take some egg for breakfast. In the noon time, in the evening, egg has become the next step of food, especially for the young people as well. Look around you as a young person, even in campus. What is one meal that people are continually taking? That is eggs. So the egg production business is so critical. So I also did a research on the same to understand what are the what are the capital needs, so that you get into the business. So if you're going to buy your own chicks and the feeds, you're going to need around 50,000 to 100,000. Is not a lot of money. Trust you me, given the returns that you're going to get from this business, 50,000 to 100,000 is just a drop in the ocean based on the money that is available for you. So 50,000 to 100,000. Then some of the places that you can sell them, you can talk to retail shops. They are having them nowadays. Even kibandas and kiosks nowadays, they are selling eggs. So you want to look into that. Number two, you want to look at institutions, like schools, like major companies like Farmers Choice, Kenchik. They'll buy eggs from you because they also need to supply their consumers. All right. Then we have households, and then we have wholesale traders. There are people who have just opened up their business, and all they do is selling eggs. Look around you where you live. There is definitely one joint whereby you go there and you realize they're just selling eggs in wholesale. People with retail shops and retail kiosks come to them to buy eggs from them. So that is idea number two. If you want to get into it, trust you me, it's a really, 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 really great area to get into, and you can easily build a brand on organic egg production. So if you want to think exactly where do I get into and how do I get into this, you want to think about egg production and the edge that is giving you, because it's easier to build a brand around something to eat and organic than in many other industries. Being that I'm in the industry as a consultant, I can tell you some of the brands are easier to build than others. Now, let's jump straight into the third kind of a business that you can start as a young person, and that is rabbit farming. Now I want you to understand that every idea that we are talking about today revolves around farming. So it's about what you can do with the farm that you have, and what you can do um, with your village space that you've been given to you, or just at the back of your home. Depends with what you want to do with it. So understand that we are talking about farming. You need to get involved. Whether you hire someone to do it or not, you need to get involved. Now, number three is rabbit farming. Rabbit farming is an amazing, 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 amazing business to get into. Now, these are some of the three advantages that I got to realize when it comes to rabbits as I was doing my research. Number one, it's low cost. Sustaining, taking care of a rabbit is low cost because you easily get their meals. You can go out there and get herbs for them. You can go out there to vibandas and kiosks and be collecting the vegetable remains that they get you. Sometimes you can even decide to buy for them the vegetables, the sukumas, wiki, the spinach, the vegetables. You can decide to buy from a nearby market at wholesale. So rearing rabbit proved to be one of the low cost kind of businesses, and also the reduction of risk when it comes to them dying. All right. So it's a really, really amazing. And out of the 10 businesses that I'm going to highlight, apart from the broiler chicken farming, because we're already focusing on it this week, you can tell us which one do you want us to focus on next week. You can text us, can reach out to Chai TV, so that we can of course understand what are some of the things that you want us to talk to. Remember, if you want to talk to Chai TV, you can talk straight to us through 0757764095, and if you send your message via WhatsApp there, we will definitely be able to know the next topic that you want us to discuss. Or you can just drop a comment on this show and we will know you want us to discuss on this. Now, rabbit farming, as I was saying, it's among the booming. It's number one, it's low cost. Number two, fast breeding. Okay, rabbits really give birth like, you know, I know some of you who have experienced people who farm rabbits. You know that they give birth in volumes. In volumes. One day you can be having 2 rabbits, and the other day you're waking up with 15 or 10 or 20. Depends with how good your rabbits are breeding, but they are really fast breeders. Number three is that they give a very healthy white meat, and this is it. As time is going by, people are becoming more conscious of their health and the things that they eat every day. So people are thinking, especially in Africa. Let me start by saying the reason as to why we are trying to focus majorly on the things that are happening around farming, especially in Kenya, is because when it comes to Africa and Kenya, where is our home, you never satisfy people when it comes to food. We always have more people than the supply of food that is available. And the more people are becoming conscious of some of the things that they need to understand, the more people are becoming conscious of their health, that they need to eat this today and they need to eat that, that is the more the demand is growing. And what does this mean for us? Simply, what this means for us is that people want to eat what is recommended by doctors more and what they think is healthier more. Now, talking of that, white meat comes on the top of the list. People are being recommended to eat a lot of white meat, especially the bodybuilders. Of course, they take a lot of white meat from chicken, and rabbit, trust you me, is among one of them that you don't want to miss out on the same. So, and the meat is ready for export, guys. So if you've been thinking, I want to start a business that is going to give me an opportunity to export what I'm producing, you want to think about rabbit farming, because it gives you a white meat that is ready for export. Now, on the capital needs, I realized that you need around 10,000 to 30,000 for cages and breeding stock. Imagine 10,000. Sorry. So if you have exactly 10,000, it's so easy for you to get into the farming. So you get your own 10,000 to around 30,000. You get the cages and you get the business ready for running. Now, where are you going to sell these things? Let's start with the areas that you can sell it. You can sell meat for the income streams. You can sell the fur. The fur of the rabbit is on high demand as well. So people are buying fur from farmers. You can also sell urine. Remember, around 2 years ago or 3 thereabout, we had this booming trend that rabbit urine is a great fertilizer, and people were starting to use it and apply it on their farms. They were seeing results. So you can decide that you'll be harvesting the urine from your rabbit. So it's an immense kind of business that comes not only as one stream, but it gives you an opportunity and advantage to reap from multiple streams when it comes to serving a market, which is really critical. Now, what edge are you going to enjoy? It's a niche market that of course has less competition. Not a lot of people are doing rabbit farming, so this is so critical. Now, before we go for our short break, I want us to talk about idea number 4, so that when we come back, we talk about the remaining and then we conclude. Now, number 4 is honey, or what we call beekeeping. Remember, this is something we used to call in geography, we used to call it apiculture, and also in agriculture when we were studying. So apiculture is a really booming business, and it's giving people advantage. All right, it's giving you an upper hand when it comes to its farming. Now, let me start by saying that the benefits of keeping bees, because honey has both local and international demand. What do I mean? You can sell it locally and you can export it to other nations because they are looking for it. People want fresh honey, people want organic honey, people want legit stuff. And given where we are nowadays, you cannot tell. So if you can position yourself and build a brand around legit organic honey that you're producing from your own farm with your own beehives, is going to be an added advantage for you. Now, capital needs for the same is between 20,000 to 40,000. If you have 20K to 40K, is going to give you an upper hand because you can get the modern beehives. They're going to give you a really, really amazing edge in the market. Income streams, let me be very quick, is raw honey. You can sell honey, you can sell beeswax, you can sell propolis and pollination services because they are needed. People want you to help them pollinate their farms, and your insects will really be helpful. Now, it is eco-friendly, it is scalable, and this one I went an extra mile to research on some of the areas that you can practice it from. And I realized one of the areas that you can practice it very well is within Kiambu, within Murang'a, and within Kitui. So, guys, this is the Vijana Na Ukulima show, and I believe that as a young person, wherever you're watching us from, you're getting to understand what are some of the areas, some of the things that you can farm into, and what you can do. So, send me the comments. Let me know what you're looking into. Let me know which one is standing out for you, and let us know exactly what is the next kind of business that you want us to discuss, because that is where we are headed to, and that is what we are going to do. So, dear viewers, we want to let you understand that around Vijana Na Ukulima, the only thing that we do is to help you as a young person understand more about agriculture, get into the agriculture business, and if you're already there, to be able to scale it. We'll be back after the short break. Do not scroll past this. Looking for powerful, crystal clear sound for your next event? At Chai TV, we've got you covered nationwide. From weddings to church services, corporate events to outdoor concerts, birthdays to rallies, we deliver top-notch sound systems, microphones, mixers, speakers, DJ setups, lighting, and full audio support to make your event unforgettable. Based in Nairobi but serving the entire country, Chai TV is your trusted partner for quality, reliability, and clean sound that moves the crowd. Call or WhatsApp us today on 0799 220 217. Chai TV, let your sound be heard.
Welcome to Evergreen Timber. Naitwa Kogi. Na leo naelezea kuhusu gypsum. Gypsum, we have all varieties. Kuna hada, kuna pia cornice, wood filler, ndizo hizi ziko kwa wingi. Tutakuzia hata fixed price. We have wall panel. Karibuni nyote.
The emperor one day was boiling water, like the one that you can see at a nearby bush. And then one of the leaves fell into the water that he was boiling. And that is how he realized a flavor, not only a flavor, but a beverage that was going to create the entire difference in the world when it comes to beverages.
Realizing nursery is not as simple as I thought. It's not as
as simple as I was thinking when I was coming here. I'm seeing a whole lot new level of invention, creativity na venye kazi inafaa ifanyike. So guys, let's go into kuweka mchanga. So tunaenda kuweka mchanga hapa hivi so that we can see tutatengeneza pieces ngapi. Hii karatasi inakuanga na pieces ngapi?
Hiyo karatasi inakuanga na pieces 100.
Oh, hii ni pieces 100.
Today, we take a look at the world of chicken farming, a business that is rapidly growing, feeding families and creating job opportunity.
And today, we've just visited a farmer in Thika, Kiganjo area. And today, we'll be diving into the intricacies of having a healthy farm and rearing a healthy poultry. We'll also be getting into the intricacies of brooding the right way. Come with us.
Getting to learn with us a lot of stuff, and I believe that this thing is becoming so helpful to you and that you're able to know what are some of these areas that you can get into as a young person and what are some of these businesses that you can think of starting. Now, we spoke about broilers, we spoke about eggs, we spoke about bees, we spoke about rabbit farming. Now, I want us to go to point number 5, which is mushroom farming. You can think about mushroom farming, which is fast growing and profitable, especially it has a lot of rising demand within Nairobi, restaurants, Kisumu, and Mombasa. These are some of the areas that I was able to map out that they have a lot of demand when it comes to mushrooms. Because now new dishes are getting involved. We have a lot of international guests and people who are coming to the country in search and in looking for to experience their local cuisines from where they are coming from here in Kenya, because they want to feel like they are at home. So there is a lot of rising demand for mushroom, and not only from local international tourists, but also from local people. We have local consumers who are taking up a lot of meals and dishes that are made from mushrooms. Now, on the capital needs for mushrooms, we said that we are trying to get to as low as possible. So we have between 50,000 to 70,000 for a small production house. This one is quite critical because it's delicate, it's horticultural kind of a setup, and then given that even the returns are so high, all right, given that what you're going to get from the farming of this mushroom is going to be really high, the return is really amazing. So the capital needs are a little bit higher, 50,000 to 70,000. You'll be able to start one of these, and then you get to supply to hotels, supermarkets, and households. And even on a bonus point is that the edge is that year-round production and high margins. As I was saying, the margins are really high. The profits, man, there are a lot. This is something you're going to enjoy because of the income from them. People buy them at really competitive prices and fair prices for you, such that you don't feel like you're being wasted and you don't feel like you are just doing nothing when you're doing the farming. So the margins are really high. So if you're looking for something that is going to return very fast, give you money very fast every month, you want to make a lot of money when it comes to farming, you need to think about mushroom farming because it's going to be really amazing. And then the fact that you can actually produce them all year round, just given that you can create a good condition either in a greenhouse or your conducive conditions for a mushroom to grow, you are going to be just all right. Point number 6. Now, on business idea number 6, this is something that I've realized is really rising. I have seen it with my friends. People are starting to have a lot of demand for the same. Even sometimes when you go to the restaurant, you realize people are asking about it so much, and that is fish farming. The need for fish and the consumption for fish is rising to a level we are not ready for. And the only thing that can happen to the market is that we are going to be into over demand and under supply. So we are going to have our graph, instead of being something like this, the demand is going to be something really exponential and very sharp when it comes to the rising of the demand, and then the supply is kind of going to be enough, and then it gets to a point whereby it's optimum, so it cannot go beyond that point. So this is something, and I don't think there is going to be a time whereby we can hit a point of equilibrium when it comes to fish, because the production is a little bit lower than the need for it, because the demand is growing, all right, especially within urban centers. You know, initially it used to be a native food for a certain tribe or for a certain group of people. Now everyone is taking it. What does that mean for you? It simply means that a lot of people want to take it and a lot of people are ready to pay for it, and people are paying very well. So if you have between 100,000 when it comes to capital needs to 200,000, you have something good. You can set up a pond and that you can have fingerlings and get ready to run for the next few months. So that is really critical. 100,000 to 200,000. This is also a little bit higher. You realize we started with the ones that are a little bit lower, and then we get on increasing and rising. And also, as even the capital is higher, remember the law of investment, that sometimes the higher the risk, the higher the need, the risk that you need to put at stake, the higher the returns. So the more capital that we need from you, the more profit we give in you, and that is business. So fish farming. So where are you going to supply? We've said about hotels, open air markets. I'm telling you, the demand is everywhere. People are buying fish, going to cook it for their families. Nowadays people are not doing like how it was previously, whereby people would buy one fish and they're eating like 10 people. Nowadays even people are buying for their own homestead consumption. You realize there are like 6 of them, and out of the 6 of them, they buy like everyone a piece of tilapia. Tilapia and catfish, by the way, they are among the really rising breeds that you can think of starting to keep. Now we have hotels, we have open air markets, and we have direct consumers. Very critical. Now edge, the government is pushing for aquaculture. They are really encouraging people to practice it, giving us a big edge and a huge edge when it comes to the business. And they are launching support programs whereby you can get the fingerings for free, and of course you get encouraged and you're given a market. It's really critical. If you just position yourself right and position the business rightly, you're going to make the progress that you need and the capitals that you need. So that is on fish farming. Now let's talk about the 7 idea, and our idea number 7, business idea number 7, is vegetable farming. Now vegetable farming, this revolves around sukuma, spinach, tomatoes, and capsicum. They are on higher demand, especially capsicum, good returns. You remember last time we discussed about it. And of course tomatoes on higher return as well. Okay, so one of the benefits of being in this market is that it's a staple food. Everyone eats it on a daily basis. People are eating vegetables like no man's business. Every meal you have to eat, today, tomorrow, any day, it must have some vegetable in it. Whether it's capsicum, whether it's tomatoes, whether it's greens or cabbages, whatever it is that you're doing. So it's really critical. And then the cost of starting up is so low, you will not believe that with 5,000 to 20,000 for seeds, fertilizer, and irrigation, you're good to go. All right, just 5,000, and you can start with a piece of land that can be giving you good returns on a daily basis. Remember, we've said this is a staple food, so you really don't need to worry about where I'm going to get customers or are they really going to buy from me. It's staple. People are buying from people who are doing this. Okay, so where can you sell them? The income stream: open air markets, groceries, schools, and hotels. And this is big, especially for schools and hotels. People are buying them from you. Even supermarkets nowadays, they're selling vegetables. So that is something you want to think about. Okay, the edge, the turnover is really high. That one I cannot lie to you. The turnover is high, and that your cash flow can come back to you within weeks, just a few weeks, a month or so. You start earning your money back. To 3 months, you get your money, and it's in a continuous flow. So that is something you want to think about. Business idea number 8. Now this one came to my mind, I think, like a few months ago, when I had a close relative who was not feeling well, and then they were recommended to take goat milk. So our idea number 8 is dairy goat farming. The cost per liter is, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you want to make fortunes within a really short time, go into this, because cost per liter of a goat milk is on another level. So goat milk, highly nutritious, and it's recommended by doctors and specialists for special diets. Capital needs 50,000 to 100,000 for starter goats. All right, that is something good for you to start with, and it's going to give you good returns. If you get a goat that can give you 2 liters to 3 liters, you're good to go a day. That is a lot of money for you. Then income stream: you sell the milk, you have the breeding stock, and you sell the manure. Imagine. And all these things are things that are in demand. People need them on a daily basis. So you want to think about them. Then it's cheaper to manage than cows, and it can fit the urban or semi-urban areas. It's not like a cow. A goat is cheaper to manage, easier to manage, and it fits well even in urban areas. So you must not be in your village or in your rural setup for you to practice this. Let's go to business idea number 9. We are trying to be a little bit faster. This one is for people who love cooking, people who love things being spiced up, and that is herbs and spices farming. We are talking about ginger, garlic, garlic and ginger. You're really going to be all right doing this. Basil, mint, and rosemary, right? It's a growing demand in wellness setups, in health setups, and also in hotels. So we have like 3 industries that are booming, and they have high demands for these spices. So starting capital 20,000 to 50,000 depending on the scale that you want to start on. Income stream, direct sales, value addition, like dry herbs and stuff. You can sell them to supermarkets, you can supply them to major markets whereby direct consumers can buy from you or from the person you're selling to. So these are really rising business, and the value per kilogram is really high, and then the land required is relatively small as compared to other crops and other farming options that you can think of going into. Finally, for those of you who are saying, I cannot go to the farm, I don't want to farm, I don't want to keep any animal, we have what we call agro processing and value addition. That is really key. These ones, the margins are higher when you process instead of selling raw produce. So the margins are a little bit higher. So if you can get things from farmers or from your own farm and then process them, the margins are really, really, really higher. And then, for example, making peanut butter, juice, dried fruit, and yogurt or flour, they are all high margin products. So if you can think of getting into processing, it's also a critical one, and you can do it both at a small scale and a larger scale depending on what you want to build and the vision that you have. And the starting capital, you want to believe 50,000 all the way to 200,000 depending on the equipment that you need to use on the same. Then income stream, retail shops, online sales, supermarkets, hotels, the list goes on and on, schools, institutions, international alliances, conglomerates. A lot of people are in search of people who can process, all right? And you get an opportunity to build a brand and higher profits. Now, finally, the tip that I was supposed to give you, tip number 1, start small, scale with profits. Master that. It's something we call in business bootstrapping, that you do not just go into something all of a sudden. Allow things to grow naturally and such that they grow as the market demands for the supply. So start small and scale with profits. Number 2, focus on market-driven farming activities or products, things that the market is demanding, not just things that you're thinking the market is going to demand. Focus on the things that you know the market is going to buy from me, and people are going to be in demand consistently and continually. Right? Focus on that. Number 3, explore partnerships, e.g. table banking groups, circles, or government agri-finance. These are going to give you finance when you need it and ensure that you're sustainable, because money brings sustainability, money brings scale in any business. So you want to partner with some of these cooperatives and circles and groups that are, of course, helping farmers to scale their farming activities. Now, finally, you want to leverage digital platforms, because this is so critical when it comes to digitalization and where we are headed as a country and where we are headed as a generation. Of course, there is no growth outside of understanding that people needs to grow, and there is nothing like growth when you do not explore some of the ways that people are looking for you to work with them. So explore digital platforms, ensure that you're doing advertising, you're setting up your online store, because people are going to need it consistently and continually. Once again, that was our show, Vijana na Ukulima. Let me know which one of the business ideas you want us to think about, which one of the ideas you want us to talk about more into details, so that we can bring it to you in the best way possible, in the easiest way possible, and ensure that you as a young person, you run into profits. You as an organization, you go into profits. You as a person, you definitely grow. My name is Benson Numa. See you again tomorrow, same time. Cheers. Keep it Chai TV for every agricultural content. See you tomorrow.